All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today we are taking a look at the global lab notes for October 31st, and it's been a while since I've done one of these global lab patch notes, so if you are new to the channel, have no idea what's happening, basically global lab is the test server, and all of the global lab patch comes to the live server the following week, so basically in less than 6 days from now. So anyway, with that said, if you're watching this, I guess, as soon as this, hope you guys had a wonderful Halloween, and it's always interesting to see what's happening. All right, so I skimmed this a little bit, but I didn't read it in too much detail. That's what we're going to be doing. This is Google translated from Korean to English. I'll try to make it make sense, and I'll leave a link in the description if you guys are curious to see. All right, so Black Temple. So this is the solo bosses. They're apparently coming out with Calamity 8, 9, and 10 for the Bamboo Legion. And I always told people back in the day, if you were to try to learn these for the first time and you're trying to get into bosses, Bamboo Legion is probably the easiest one to get into. However, there's one thing that's like every time I read patch notes, something good comes out and then there's like a but, and this is what we're going to be talking about. So you guys know how in game, usually the bosses are around 330 to 350 AP to entry level. Apparently this one is supposed to be higher, and why? I don't know. I think they should have different tiers of it, like an entry level 330 AP for one red, green, and blue boss, and then go to like a 340, 50 and scale it up. But like the easiest ones are the green ones right now. Well, Sangoon, then red, and then the Bamboo Legion is supposed to be the hardest one. Anyway, we'll see how this goes out. If you're doing it in Calamity 1 to 7, significantly easier than that. I assume this is Calamity 8, 9, and 10. And just by going off the AP to enter, it's 360 to 380. I kind of don't like that because people are trying to get into bosses. I understand that you want to have like hard content for the end game players, but they should keep one at 330. That way, you know, you can all get the buffs on every server and not have it be such a high requirement. It's not that it's really difficult. It's more that it's just lately, ever since Edania and the huge change, I've been seeing that like they're trying to do hard caps with gear to just do everything. So like, you know, the weekly Edania bosses, those are actually very strict requirements to get in and even do it. And this one, 360 and up being the easiest one, Calamity 8 for the Bamboo Legion, is not that great. So anyway, I wish they lowered it. And then, you know, like Bari or Songashi, those could be like the 360 and up because I think those are cooler. But anyway, this should always be an entry level one. Maybe they'll do it for the other way around, but who knows? I'll be doing it, I guess the first week it comes out, and yeah, that'll be pretty cool, right? I'll make sure to save at least one boss to do for the week. That way we can have a video of it and you guys can see what it's all about. I'll try to do all 3 of them. Okay, so here is the loot that you can get from it. I assume it's the same thing. Like, here's the thing. If they're trying to make the requirements higher, like then let's say Sangoon, right, at 350 AP, and this one is 360 for the entry level. Like Sangoon Calamity 10, 350 AP. Bamboo Legion Calamity 8 is 360. They better scale the rewards up significantly. So let's see what this is. Okay, so let's see. This one is if you are ranked 1 through 9 and Calamity 8, it's 8 to 15. What really matters is is this the one, like Essence of Dawn? This is why we do the solo bosses, because those are worth a lot. That's the 6 or so billion along with the Trace of Lightning for your Voltarian horse. Oh wait, this is Essence of Dawn. 18 to 19 for top ranking. That's pretty good. And Wait, so no matter what you do, is it around 18 to 19? You know what they should do? To higher the requirements, like the more trace of lightning you get, and then eventually in a couple of months when people all get their Voltarian horses by collecting 300 of them, make the horse sellable in the market at a, pretty high price. What would I value a Voltarian horse? I don't know, 30, 40 billion until everyone gets it. Then it goes down, who knows, and make a tier 10 of that one or something like that. But let's be honest, the only reason why we do solo bosses is Essence of Dawn and the occasional debos that you can get out of it. But, the rewards itself, like, what's funny? Like, I don't understand. This is like, let's say 380 AP, right? What do you get out of this too? You get like 15 memory fragments. Like, brother, what is that reward? I don't understand. But anyway, it's kind of a weird decision. I hope they, rework some of their rewards for solo bosses. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that for now. Actions during processing have been simplified, and the processing time has been reduced accordingly. Processing time from 21 seconds to 11. I assume this animation, if you don't know, is manufacturing. You would think that like the mass processing would be shortened as well, but that one is like between 30 seconds to a minute, depending on your processing success rate and all the time and everything. But yeah, this one looks like it's a manufacturing change. So for all of you who are going for your Pentrina axe for PvP, you can make those a lot faster now. Not that anyone ever had an issue with it, but I mean, 21 seconds to 11, that's a good change. Okay, so added the ability to summon your own maid with a simple shortcut. Yeah, that was a weird update that we had recently with my attendant maid. I made a video of that, actually, so if you're curious to know what it's about, check that out. Okay. The following pet foods that had beneficial effect on pet levels growth have been removed. So let's explain that. For all of you who are new to the game, have no idea what this even means, back in the day, pets used to have levels from 1 to 10. And then, like, the level was what, like, reduced their looting speed. And they took that mechanic out of the game, like, 3-4 years ago or something like that. And basically, all you have to do is make sure your pets are fed. You turn it to, like, green to red, agile, normal, and so on. And levels are irrelevant in this game. So, basically, if you're a new player, you didn't even know this existed. If you're an old player, it doesn't even matter because it's not in the game. I think this is a fine issue. It does not affect anyone. All right, so when opened, the contents of the box that would grant advice of Valks or has been changed to match the rules. Let's see. So these boxes that gave, like, these are a 10 stack. This is a 15 stack, 20, and a 25 stack. Now it just gives you the stack instead of, like, the thing you combine it with the other thing, I believe. Either way, it's simplified, takes less materials, and it's just easier, and I would, like, significantly, well, not significantly, it's just better. So it's a good change. I think they should start giving things on, like, whole numbers of, like, by 10s instead of giving things by 5s, because that's weird. And a lot of the enhancing rules, if you've been playing this game for a long time, like, no matter what you enhance, usually you start on, like, a 0 number at the end. So, like, 100, 110, 120, so on. And then the 5s are kind of, it throws the enhancing rate off a little bit, especially if you have your journals done. That gives you, like, +2 to 5, something like that. Either way, it's a small change, but it's a nice one. The description of Cronstone items has been improved. Added details on preventing equipment from being destroyed or downgrade. Wait. Were people confused what cronstones do? Brother, cronstones are like the main currency of this game for endgame players. That's only half a joke, by the way. And I don't know. I guess that's good. Like, they're adding more descriptive details. You know, I don't know what this says, but that's a lot of text for it to say item may not downgrade or may not blow up, depending on what you're enhancing. So, I guess I'll just explain it to you guys now. If you are enhancing an item without cronstones, it will either downgrade or blow up, depending on what you're enhancing, like accessories, weapons, armors. Older items, chances are if you're enhancing accessories, will just have a chance of downgrading. Nowadays, it just fails if you cronstone it. So either way, if you're confused for some odd reason and you're wondering, hey, what will happen with this item? You feel free to drop it in the comments. I'll just answer that question. Like, if you're like, should I use cronstones on an ogre ring? The answer is no, but it could potentially downgrade. Defeat the Edania leader. Each boss in Edania was designed with a specific difficulty in mind. Since Jordine and Enslar are more challenging than intended, we've slightly adjusted their difficulty. Brother, have you guys seen my videos of me doing the Enslar fight every week? It's not difficult. It's just the thing has like 15 different invincibility like mechanics where you just can't do anything. I've seen people do the Capris fight, which is the one that like 0.1% of people can actually do. I've seen people do Karshian significantly faster than Enslar. And you know why? Because it doesn't have like 10 minutes of downtime. That's the hardest part of it. It's not a difficult fight. It's just there's a lot more mechanics you have to just dodge. And you're just like, all right, let me just iframe this one for 6 minutes. Get about 15 seconds of damage on the boss. Repeat that for another 5 minutes. Kill the boss. That's the annoying part. It's not hard. It's annoying. All right, so we've made the boss fights a bit easier. Picking up a recovery orb will restore some of your Black Spirit Rage. Dude, that's not even the problem. I have videos of this. I could send these to Pearl Abyss and be like, listen, the Enslar fight, it's not the health recovery. There has been desync in the fights and stuff that I'll hit even though I'm not even in it, which I have videos of, but it's just annoying. All right, let's see. Enslar's health has been reduced by 15% compared to before. Good, but that doesn't solve the problems. Phase 1, the number of times the corrupted darkness generates after the sacred flame burns has been reduced from 3 to 2. What is that mechanic? The number of times the corrupted darkness generates after... Is that like the... That's either the big explodey AoEs or the lights come out that you iframe. Either way, they should reduce that from like 3 to 1 because that's annoying. In the pattern where Enslar summons the shadows, the number of shadows has been reduced. Okay, so let me explain this mechanic. She will pop up in one of 4 corners around the map, and then she'll summon archers on the left and right of her, right? And they'll shoot like a diagonal cone at you. There were like 5 of them, 5 of the shadows. And I think that's the mechanic. Otherwise, it's the corner shadows or, number of phases. It's one of those 3 mechanics. Either way, the ad fight is not the hard part. That one is, in fact, the easy one. Number of shadows has been increased. Number of summons has been reduced. And the shadows has been increased. Okay. Improved the Enslar ability to fall from the air when hitting certain attacks that cause knockdown, rift, and bound. You know, I've tried all of those, and like invincibility frames prevent that from happening. Apparently, cannot do that. Anyway, this is probably the best change of all of the things I've seen. Enslar's knockdown status effect has been increased by 2 seconds. Change that to like 7 seconds, and then we're good. The pattern that activates when Enslar's health is below 50 has been changed to summon all the shadows and will descend to the ground. Cool, if that speeds up the fight, that's great. Etherian Castle weekly boss. Okay, so I've only done this twice, and let's see. The time it takes for Jordine to come down and actually fight you has been reduced by 30%. That's a good change. W. Change so that the defense reduction is applied when things at 75. Good change. The health of the Blackwing has been reduced by 15%. That speeds up the fight. That's great. After using the Blackwing's fly pattern, it's been improved to apply a long-term stun, consuming all the power. Great. This seems like the fight is going to be about 30% faster. That's good. As for this one, the Enslar boss, dude, honestly, it's probably going to be the same. But who knows? Maybe 5 seconds faster. We'll see. I'll do it next week and test it. All right, the effects of the recovery orbs during 5 bosses have been changed. Oh, so this one's the change for, you know the Red Heart fight, the Final Gladios? It looks like those from this to this one. I personally like the green orbs just because I can actually see it better, but I mean, if they're going to change it, it's whatever. The Enslar fight in particular, it's a dark arena where like it's hard to see things in general. And if they're making it harder, that's fun. I'm just kidding, by the way. That's not fun. It's annoying, actually. After completing the weekly boss quest battle, the following changes have been applied to speed up the completion of the weekly quest. Your character will now automatically move to the front of each throne. That's cool, because I hated walking back to the thing every time. Crack of Darkness. Dark Rift. Got it. To make these fights faster and more convenient, we've adjusted the spawn locations. That's good. Which ones did you change? The Farid boss at the Lava Cave will let you encounter all of the bosses along a single route. So the way I started it was like, this is Madaya, right? Like this is the manor going down into Madaya to Farid. I usually go from right to left because I just do that route. And then I have another character at Navern Step because I am not going there on my main to do all of them. So I do this. Go left down to Calpheon, do all 5 of them, switch to another character, and do Griffin. All right, let's see. What is changing? I think this one, the Dim Tree spawn, used to be down by the Catfishman camp area. And then now, like, it used to spawn between one of the 2 of them, so here or a Catfishman camp. Now the fact that it's over here is a lot nicer. It helps. You can do all 5 of them in one. And then, let's see, where did they move Griffin? From Navern Step to the Mountain Lodge. Well, all that's changing. Like, this is a good change for the first 5. I'm just going to move a second character to the new spot. Like, it's still annoying. You know what they should have done with it? Just get rid of that boss and added a new one that's, like, somewhere in between. Do you guys want to know something? For all of you OG players out there, back in the day, they used to have a cycle of 10 different Rift bosses. They used to have they had one down in Drigan, and then the Katzvariak one was an event one. They also had one in Madaya, which was, what is that, like, I think it was the Tower or a Kalk or something like that. Something like that. Anyway, that one bugged out. They used to have 10 different bosses on cycle. Now they reduced it to 6. I wish seasonally they would just cycle in different bosses, keep things fresh. But, you know, Griffin is still probably the annoying one, in my opinion. So, is this change good? I get it looks better than before, so that's good. The paint at Sycraia Upper has been changed to underwater Sycraia Paint. The paint from underwater Sycraia has been changed to drop as well. A piece of the Giant's Ring has been obtainable. Hunting ground. So, okay, so let's talk about this one. Back in the day, before underwater Sycraia, there was only the upper one. Well, I guess they kind of came out relatively at the same time. But back when the Merchant Ring was new, most people were at the gear point of only being able to do upper. So that's where the ring dropped. And then underwater drops the ring piece, but at a significantly lower rate. And I always thought it was a good idea that they should add the ring piece in underwater instead of upper. Like, you just make more silver in general. So the fact that it's different now and it's going to be dropping at underwater is actually a very good thing. Fun fact, I got my Sycraia piece through Paints on the first week it came out at Orbita, and it was Sycraia. I also did about 250 hours before that, so it's not like I'm just getting a free piece. It's just RNG balancing. So yeah, this is a good change. During the 9th, 8th, 9th, and 10th stages of the Black Temple, the vibration effect of the falling rocks has been reduced. Does anyone actually play with vibration effects on? I don't. I've turned that off since day one. Also, fun fact, or not really a fun fact, but good to know. If you're a content creator, you better turn this vibration off. You are not trying to give people motion sickness in your videos. So, yeah, you better turn that off if you plan on making videos or streaming. Node Wars and Sieges. Going from tier 4 to 3, 5 to 3, 3 to 4. Okay, so Node Wars, Sieges, tier levels adjusting. And they also have to change the thing with daylight savings time, which they also announced already as well. So just keep that in mind for all of you PvPers out there, that daylight savings is coming around the corner, and just keep that 1 hour fallback in mind. When using horse skills while riding a horse with your weapon out, your weapon will now automatically put away. Isn't that the point of some of them? Like the Doom Horse, you would do that. Back in the day, you know, people used to power level themselves while on a horse. It was because gear scaled differently, and people with tamers had the hailing, and apparently that just did a lot of damage. Nowadays, that's a little bit less relevant. You could still technically do it. It's just, why would you? Because you just have enough gear to not do it. But interesting. All right, UI. Improved readability of sailor levels into sailor list. I never had that issue, but okay, apparently some people just couldn't read it. Added a sound when turning the Nadar's belt page in the enhanced UI. This thing right here, this UI issue, or it's not really an issue, is only if you paid to win past like the 10 slots you have. If you have like 20 of them, you can hear a noise. If you don't, it's not a problem. Various Reforged stuff. The Reforged change, like, it's good, but I feel like every time they do a change, they kind of like half bake it, and then it's just like, you know, like the all-in-one preset, everyone was so excited for it, and then when it came out with the release, it's like, oh, all the things we wanted with it aren't there, but the all-in-one preset was a good idea. They just didn't include the things we wanted in it. So it's like, okay. So yeah, the Reforged Stone is a good change, actually. Being able to just hot swap between them, always a good thing. It looked confusing the first time you looked at it, but then once you got it down, it's pretty good. Fixes and changes. This list gets longer every week. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything relevant or notable? Because, you know, here in the fixes and changes, the first time, they added that one thing where it's like, horse gear will now be chronable in the changes. That's a big change, but it's just like one random line of text that they added in a couple patch notes. That's why people should read these now. And so, like, I know a lot of people that the people who read these patch notes, they got a huge advantage. I know some people that bought literally like 500 billion silver's worth of horse costumes back in the day, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Now they're super rich because they read the patch notes and some people didn't. Things like that are major changes and should not be put just like, oh, in one line over here or something. Those should be like, you know, main changes, not just like we fixed a text issue. So yeah, this is why we look at these. We've always done it, but here it is. The issue where the number of maids owned in the UI displayed 25 out of 30 when connecting to a PC room server without a maid butler has been fixed. That is the most, like, how do you find that issue I've ever seen. PC room maid registration. You know how in, like, Korea they have, like, gaming buildings where people just do that and like rent like a couple hours at a game room or something? It's not really an American thing, but I guess for all the Koreans out there who had that issue, this is a thing. So this will probably not affect about 99% of you guys, but the 1%, that's cool. Messages about items obtained from monsters by other people were displayed multiple times in the chat window has been fixed. It's such a stupid thing. Okay. All of these are controller issues. I swear I see controller issues every single week I read these patch notes. The issue where the alarm icon that appears when obtaining the Millennium Jinxin has not been centered has been fixed. I've gotten exactly 2 of these since they released. It's the thing when you gather and the 90-day ginseng that gives you questionable stats. That's cool. I mean, they're so rare, I don't even know how they found that issue, but that's cool. And a lot of like UI centering issues. All right, well, that was today's patch notes. I had a lot to say about the 8 to 10 Bamboo Legion boss. I still wish they had a lower tier 1 for people to actually do and not keep it at 360. Like, here's what I would do. There are 3 current Blue Moon bosses, right? They have Bamboo Legion, Sangashi, and Bari. In my opinion, the order of like difficulty, Bamboo Legion being the easiest, Bari being, you know, probably in between, and then Sangashi was probably the hardest of the 3. And so, you know what I would do? Bamboo Legion, 330 to 350. And then if they want to do Sangashi later on or something like that, that could be 360 to 380. Because, yeah, that would just make more sense. Because here's the thing. People do these bosses for, I guess, like, obviously the Essence of Dawn and stuff. But to get yourself the 2-hour, like, server buff, like the 1 AP, 1 DP, 20%, they should have an entry level one for people to just do and get the buff. That's not 360. Like, you know what they should do? In the future, make the harder ones like the higher difficulty, but keep things at an entry level pace for people as well. Just, you know, coming from someone who actually plays the game, my advice to them. And that's about it. Like, everything else, interesting changes. Like, overall, these are good changes. But with that said, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and I will have more videos coming out in the near future. So I will see you guys later. Peace.